I just put a few slides together around ethical practice. And some of those of you who already do therapies will be very familiar with this. And this work, of course, is no different. We live in a time that's exciting because I believe that this work, slowly, we can bring more into the mainstream so that it can be understood and recognized as a valid holistic therapy. And in order for that to happen, we need to show that we have integrity and we have ethics. Well, that's what ethics is about. It's about having integrity and making sure that the client is the most important person in this process. So, going back to the early stages of Western culture, and I can't speak for Eastern culture here, but I'm sure there were many similar prophets about healing work. But Hippocrates, you may be familiar with the Hippocratic Oath. Does anybody know about that?
About what?
The Hippocratic Oath. So this is an oath which was historically taken by people doing healing work and physicians since the 5th century. Actually physically written down by Hippocrates, the philosopher. And it's one of the most widely known of Greek medical texts. And it required a new practitioner to swear by a number of healing gods to uphold specific ethical standards. So I just took a few extracts from this text from the 5th century BC, and it says, this is Hippocrates writing, "I will use treatment to help the sick, according to my ability and judgment, but never with a view to injury and wrongdoing. I will keep pure and holy both my life and my art. Into whatsoever house I enter, I will enter to help the sick, and I will abstain from all intentional wrongdoing and harm, especially from abusing the bodies of man or woman. And whatsoever I shall see or hear in the course of my profession, I will never divulge, holding such things to be holy secrets." So there we have it, the beginning of ethical medics. So for this healing work and other modalities as well, there are 7 ethical principles of work. Very, very important for us to understand when we're working with clients. And the first one is autonomy. And by this we mean that the client is in control of the treatment that they receive, i.e. they can refuse aspects of the body work at any time, okay? And they give full consent for everything according to what they want to receive at the beginning. The second one is beneficence. So we only do this work in the best interest of the client, not because we want to experiment, because it's coming from a place of ego, or because we want to make lots of money out of people. We're not doing that work. We're not doing it because of that. Non-maleficence. The practitioner will not harm the client deliberately or through negligence. So negligence could be a number of things. In modern day terms, that's risk assessment, whether that's wiping the client's feet so they don't slip, making sure that they are looked after when they leave the building, all that kind of thing. So we take care of them throughout the whole process. The fourth one is justice. Treating clients on an equal basis, regardless of their belief, their culture, their ethnicity, their age, although in this modality we say over 21 years, and sexual orientation as well. So nobody is refused on any of those grounds. Number 5 is honesty, truthfulness and integrity with clients and colleagues at all times. And that includes being clear with clients about the limits of what this treatment can offer. We can't go to say to somebody, stop taking your cancer drugs, you know? It may well really help them with their journey to heal cancer, but at the same time, we can't tell them to stop taking their medications. And we also work within our capacity, which is something that Matt brought up as well. We offer as much as we can within where we are with our practice. And then dignity, providing sessions in a way that ensure the client's safety and comfort and privacy. And then confidentiality, we all know about this already, but keeping the client's personal details and case history confidential, unless permission's granted to share them. So when you go away from here, and you'll get a Module 2 starter kit with a template for the consent form and everything. When the client fills in that form, you need to keep it in a safe place. You need to make sure it's not lying around. Anything that they disclose to you in a session, you have to keep that confidential. Yeah. And even when we talk about case studies in this space, training space here, we don't talk about names. So we really respect the client's confidentiality. It's very, very important with this work. Tantric Journey is a growing community, and I think you can already feel a sense of community amongst the group here. And the community has a sense of culture about what we believe in and how we practice. So this is related to the ethics, but I was exploring a bit more about this, and it's something that will evolve and grow as the Tantric Journey grows. The first thing I thought was very important to include, first and foremost, is having a client-centered approach. That means we are here to support the client's healing and personal growth with love and compassion, and working with universal guidance in all aspects of the practice. I think that's something that's become really clear, isn't it, during this training week. Quality of practice, that we have a baseline competency level for practitioners, and that we also offer ongoing professional development and personal support for people doing this work, and ensure that practitioners are physically and emotionally fit to practice. And some of the ways that we do that are monthly Skype group, so you can join from anywhere in the world, Facebook group, so you can post. We also suggest things like having a buddy. So when you start your case studies, contact somebody who's also doing case studies, and you can buddy them, and then you can chat about your experiences, the people that you've just worked with. It's a really nice thing to do. And we've got other little bits of training as well on offer. We're just creating a handbook at the moment. So there's more details about how to practice safely. Communication is key. So Mal's already explained the way that he works, sending information in advance to clients, a treatment card, the consent form, and we ensure that we have informed consent from clients. So that means before they get into the session. Before they come to the session, they get the information, so they have a cooling period, so they can change their mind. Then we have the consultation time where they have a chance to discuss their case history and explain the treatment to them, and they decide how they want to go ahead with the session. Yeah, so, and both written and verbal, because during the session as well, we ask for consent one more time. Confidentiality, we just talked about that, case notes, personal data as well. If you've got people's contact details on your devices, you need to keep all that confidential. Health and safety, being responsible around infection control, when we're using all these materials, and also having a safe space for the treatments, simple things like wires and stuff like that, just making it a safe space. Just always taking care of the client. And then finally, creating a community of practice, because if you go out and do this by yourself, it can be quite a lonely thing. And you may do it for a while, and then after that you don't feel very supported. And that's why we've got some of these online support things happening. And yeah, it's very, very important that we communicate and stay in touch. And when you start to do case studies, Mal will be supporting you with your first 20, and I'll support the women actually with their first 20 case studies as well. So you feel supported. And there are lots of other ideas and plans, aren't there, Mal? Like having an annual get-together for everybody, so that you really feel like you're part of a family, really, with this work. And we're not going to do this now, but when I've done this in the Module 2 training in London, we divided into groups, and I'll just read out these ethical questions as an example. So for example, if you're a practitioner giving a session and you see a great healing opportunity for the client, but it's an area of the body for which they've not given written consent, but it's an area of trauma for them, and they're only visiting one time from abroad, and you will not see them again. So do you go ahead?
No.
No. Yeah, Mal explained this very well yesterday, and it's a real heart wrench and it's a dilemma, but you cannot, and just have to trust that the universe will take care of them and they'll come back or they'll receive the help that they need. Okay. Second one, you've worked with a client for several sessions, and now that you realize you're developing a heart connection and a sexual attraction to them, and it appears that they're also attracted to you. What can you do? Can you ask them on a date? Any?
No, you can't ask them on a date. You complete your sessions first, and then after, maybe once you finish the relationship,
And what were you going to say now?
I would say speak to the person about it and be honest about it, rather than, and then if you truly are still interested in them and they're not, then you have to make a professional decision. You act professionally. If you can, then maintain the relationship as a professional individual. If not, then you refer her to another client, another practitioner.
Our consensus in Tantric Journey is that you can't date or be in a relationship with a client, because then your relationship with them becomes conditional rather than unconditional, the love, okay? So they can't be both. So you could, I believe in a cooling period for somebody, because if they're involved with you, they may be involved in an altered state, and maybe you don't know them very well and what their case history is, and they might get attached to you. There may be all kinds of transference and things. But it's, as you say, the first thing really is to talk to them about it and to establish how they feel. But if you yourself are in a position where you realize you're attracted to them, I don't think it's possible to work with them in an unconditional way. Yeah. You can feel love and you can feel connection, but if you're really seriously attracted to them, you're not going to be in the same state with them as a practitioner as you would be for other people.
So you pass them on to another practitioner?
You could refer them to another practitioner. Do you want to add anything to that, Mal?
No, that's fine.
So, yeah, there you go. And we work intimately with people. Heart connections do happen. There is attraction. We work with the energy, sexual energy. And we can discern, I think, maybe we get to a point with somebody where you feel that there could be some relationship with this person, but the basic underlying thing is they can't be your client. Yeah. So the details that you've received already, what clients can expect before, during and post sessions. You have that already, but you can go to the Tantric Journey website to read that at any point.